Hi folks, this is Chuck, and this is Hiking with Roulette Run. And today we are hiking the third leg and final leg of the Adena Trace Loop Trail around Brookville Lake in southern Indiana. It's been quite the challenge. Let's see where we go. Alright, well, it's in the process of becoming daylight this morning. I've got my breakfast ready. And I've gotten dressed, and so I've got oatmeal, brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal, 2 packages with chia seeds, two tablespoons of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of powdered milk, and walnuts in here. And you really gotta hydrate your chia seeds. Do not eat just plain chia seeds. They will dehydrate you because they absorb a ton of liquid. It is just becoming daylight. And I'll be out of here in, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. Okay, so I am literally packed up and ready to go. The sun is just coming through the trees over there. Let's see. There it is. I knew there was another blaze right here. And we are back on trail. I need to restart my trail mapping Onyx backcountry. Alright, so this was my campsite for the night, and I am certain that I've left nothing behind. So I've been thinking about this trail quite a lot. And so this area around this reservoir is a combination of the state DNR and which is the Department of Natural Resources, who manages all the state parks and whatnot, and also the Army Corps of Engineers, who built and maintains the dam for the reservoir. And okay, looking for a next blaze. I got blazes right here beside me. But where we go from here, I'm looking. There we go. Kind of winds back around on itself here a little bit. Okay, I got blazes. We're moving. Alright, I think I got about 4 miles or so to do today. Funny thing is, the state DNR website claims that this is a 25-mile loop. Well, the first day Onyx Backcountry says I did 14.5, and then yesterday it says I did 12 point a little bit, just slightly over 12 miles. And unless my math is really wrong, that comes up to about 26 and a half miles, and I'm not there yet. If 25 miles were correct, I would have completed this yesterday. Oh well, it is what it is. The trail is what it is. And we're moving on. Hopefully we'll be done by noon. We'll see. It is currently 7:14 in the morning. I will just tell you, that would be a tumble if you took it down this. Ooh, that would be a serious tumble. There'd be no stopping you unless you ran into a tree. I am on top of a hill right now, and so far it's easy moving. We'll see how long that lasts. You know, people on the AT talk about the green tunnel. Well, there is no tunnel here. It's just green. I will tell you, for multiple reasons, this trail will be much easier done in the what I'll call shoulder seasons and winter. For one thing, I think the trail would be easier to follow. Although on this side of the lake, I have not gotten seriously off trail, whereas I did once on the other side of the lake, and I'm doing some serious yes, I am doing some serious silk blazing here. I would say trying to do this in the next 3 months. It's May, about the middle of May, maybe close to the 20th of May right now, probably about the 19th. And you're really going to be pushing it coming any later. From here on for the next 3 months is going to be summer weather, and we're talking easy possibilities of high 80s Fahrenheit to well into the 90s Fahrenheit. And this is a real beast of a trail. I'm not going to joke. I would have loved to have finished this trail yesterday, but it just wasn't happening. The first day taught me to listen to my body more. And so last night, when I felt like I was hitting the wall, I came up out of a gulch after getting a draw, whatever you want to call it, after loading up with water, and I climbed that hill simply to get some cell service. Cell service is mostly non-existent on this trail. Boy, boy. It does stay interesting, this trail. But I will tell you, trying to do this in 90-degree heat, I don't know if you could carry enough water. I've been carrying 2 liters, typically one for fresh water and one for electrolyte mix. And even now, 3 liters would have been much preferred when it came time to make camp and using water for cooking and all that, and have water to drink. Now I'm headed downhill, and theoretically I'm mostly going to be paralleling the reservoir the rest of the way to the dam up the way. I might have a draw or two that I have to navigate. We'll see. Yeah. Sweet dreams are made of these, and who am I to disagree? Oh. There we go. We're having fun now. Actually, it has evened out, and we're, for the most part, kind of following the contour of the ground, uphill on my right and downhill to the reservoir to my left. And I'm making pretty good time, at least so far. I have some hills coming, some draws that I'm going to have to climb down and climb back up out again, at least according to the Onyx backcountry. Oh boy. Kind of looks like I'm not going to get finished till about noon, based upon how far I've come, how far I've gone, or how far I've got to go, and the speed I've done it in. I'm not making too bad a time, at least comparatively. I knew this was coming. This is one of the 4 draws that I'm going to have to cross, where it goes down and across the mostly dry creek. I can hear water running back up the way, and there is some water over here, but then it crosses up and over here, and then it drops down into another one on the other side, and another climb back up again. So that's going to be 2 of my 4, I think, climbs left out of this trail. By the way, when I get to talking temperatures, this is eastern Indiana, actually southeastern Indiana, kind of northwest out of Cincinnati, or mostly straight south of Richmond, Indiana. That's a steep drop right there. Okay, it's not dry as I thought it was from up the top. I have run across several dry creek beds. Okay, might get to hear me huffing and puffing here. I mean, relatively, this one's not bad. At least what I can see of it yet. Not so bad. We'll see where the next one takes us. Okay, I will tell you, I have run across some gigantic tree falls on this trail. No ducking required. So let me tell you about the dangers of this trail. I already mentioned heat. And when I talk about upper 80s and 90s, I am talking Fahrenheit. We're not reaching boiling. although it kind of feels like it. The humidity gets very high around here, so it is a very steamy heat that does not evaporate very easily. And so that kind of compounds the misery a bit. Okay, trying to get there. See the blaze over here. I'm getting there. One log at a time. There we go. I got another draw to cross here. Somewhere. Yeah. So far I have seen no snakes. I saw a killer box turtle and a killer frog that mostly wanted to be left alone. The other bigger dangers have been the green fire, which is the stinging nettles, and primarily the wild rose bushes. I kind of look like I've been in a fight with an alley cat. Mostly on my legs. Okay, coming down into this draw. So far, not so steep. Okay, you know, I've been trying to show some of the harder parts of the trail. I once saw a video where somebody says nobody ever films the hard part. Well, I've been attempting to show some of the harder parts. Certainly not all of them. But at any rate. Okay, looks like we circle the tree and head off to the left. Okay, so I did not take a proper break here. I did pull the pack off and I filtered a liter of water. So I got a liter of water to last me to the dam, and I think I'll make it. I did not load up on any electrolyte mix here, but I think I'll make it all right. Only got a couple miles to go, I think. Okay, so I am up on top of another ridge here, or just off the top of the ridge, getting ready to drop down into another, I don't know if you want to call it a draw or a ravine, one or the other. I need to study up on my topo terms, my topographic terms. There once was a day that I was very much up on all that. Back in my younger days, at a third of my current age, I was a U.S. paratrooper. Not to brag about that so much as to give some context into there was a day when I could have done 7, even more miles. And I could get up and, hop up like nothing. Okay. This tree just snagged my hat. I could get up off the ground and hop up like nothing. Those those days are past. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I walk through areas, I don't know if it's pollen or what, but all of a sudden I just get the coughs. I'll get back on a little bit. Sometimes I get to cruising along here, and it's like suddenly, it's like, did you just swallow a mouthful of dust or what? Because I get like the dry cough badly, very badly, and that's kind of rough. As I was saying, back in my 20s, early 20s, late teens, early 20s, from 79 to 83, I was a U.S. Army paratrooper, doing PT, physical training, every day, running 3 and 4 miles every day, and I was in good shape. Well, that was a different lifetime ago, and that person is not me anymore, not physically anyhow. Age has a way of taking a toll on a person. By the way, I am really tired of silk blazing with my face this morning. I have never liked walking through spider webs. I don't mind spiders. I just don't like walking through their webs. All right. We are on what appears to be a fairly long, shallow decline here at a trip. All right, when I get inside of the dam, I'll let you know. If I were down by the water, I could probably see the dam easily. We're not there yet, not here in the woods. I do hear boats, and I have all along the trail on both sides of the lake. I can hear the boats. I can hear people talking on the boats. I'm not far off. It's right down there. I can see sparkles off the water coming through the trees. But this is a very dense, well, this is not nearly as dense as some places, but it is a very dense forest. Oh yeah, a danger I forgot to mention. If I don't end up with a dandy case of poison ivy, I'm going to have to turn in my poison ivy fanboy club membership, because it's all over this trail. You know, this trail, it is a real beast. You know, I told you I ran into 8 or 9 young fellows, probably 20-ish, plus or minus a couple years, and they were hopping off trail yesterday, and I was talking to them, and I will tell you, they were not properly equipped for a real hike. And trust me, this is a real hike. I mean, they had packs. Not a one of them did I see have trekking poles. And boy, the way they were packed, some of them, at least one I saw, had a fairly large synthetic sleeping bag that was tied onto the back of his, outside of his pack, and oh, that just increases the fulcrum on your shoulders tremendously. And I can understand why they were getting off trail, even as young as they were. But here I am, 64. I'm not going to lie, the trail has whooped on me, and I have felt it tremendously. Again, not like when I was 20. Oh, And I just got snagged by something. That hurt. Didn't hurt, but it stopped me. Well, trail maintainers have been through here. Now, I will say on this trail, the closer you get to the north and the south ends where there's easy access to the trail by vehicle, the more maintenance that has been done on the trail. The farther into the center you get, not so much. Now over on the east side of the reservoir, there is multiple road crossings. On this side over here, I don't think I've had a single road crossing since I got off the, in fact I'm sure of it, I haven't had a single road crossing since I got off of the causeway. And it does say on the the Indiana DNR website that this side is more rugged. Well, in some ways I have to agree. I mean, for one, you're not hopping off once you get in here. Sort of a helicopter coming in and dropping a line into you. You're not getting off. Well, I take that back. You did see the sign back there where it said 2.5 miles. That way you could get out. But that was yesterday. And needless to say, I did not do that. And I'm dropping down into what I believe is the last ravine between here and the dam. And it's a steep drop here. Then I think I got a pretty steep climb up on the other side too. Yep. Look at that. Well, I will give them props in that this trail, I can't imagine what it took to create from scratch. Well, there you go, folks. There's the first look of the dam. And from here I got a choice. I can either climb up and go across the top of the dam. There's actually appears to be a lady jogger running across there right now. Or right about, I don't know, from here it would appear to be 10 foot or less up from the water. There is a path that goes all the way across. And I have to climb up over on the other side. I think I'm climbing up on this side and be done with the climbing. But I just dropped out of here off this trail from that sign that I just showed you, and here I am. Ear protection required. Interesting. Okay, so the trail, it has whooped me, but it didn't defeat me. That's what I got to say about that. Yep, up and over. Some interesting things you see out here. Out in the middle of nowhere. This has been quite the climb. I'm ready for a little road walk, actually. It's easier on the ankles. And here we go. Down there is the spillway coming out of the reservoir. And over here, if you can see that, Underneath Brookville is a castle, and that is a symbol for the Corps of Engineers, the Army Corps of Engineers, which at one time when I was in the Army, I was a member of the Corps of Engineers as a combat engineer when I was making my living jumping out of airplanes. I think when I get back to the vehicle, some good salty French fries and a cheeseburger are sounding pretty good. I got a little ways to go yet. I do have to go back onto some wooded trail for, I don't know, quarter mile at the most. Nice little park down here. That'd be a nice, excellent place for a picnic. I knew I saw somebody down there fishing. They moved apparently. Yeah. 1.1 mile from one end of the dam to the other. I believe it. It's a good walk. Huh. Okay, so this little extension from the dam up to the parking area where I've got to go, it is generally made for your average person that wants to take a little walk in the woods. It is got some challenges though. Oh, I see a building. That's a good sign. Okay, so my Honest Backcountry says I've done just short of 5 miles today. In actuality, I got a pretty good walk from here in the parking lot to where my vehicle is at, which is going to be way at the other end of the parking lot. Down by that building that's way down there at the other end. If you can see that. Alright folks, thanks for joining me. We are here and we are all but complete. Folks, do me a favor. If you like what you're seeing, down at the bottom, hit like and subscribe. And stay tuned. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching.